And every day here in HISD, we have kids fight each other in schools. Every single day, teachers split up children that fight each other. It would be inappropriate to say it's okay to pull out a knife and stab somebody if somebody pushes you. Now, if you're being jumped and there's video evidence of that, then you are justified. But the video evidence just does not show that.
But I do want to land with the fact that in America right now, this was a public lynching to me.
Welcome to the Black American channel of the free and the brave. Now today, guys, we're going to be talking about accountability, more so lack of accountability. And I am sick and tired because we, as Black people, we need to own up to our faults. It's not always somebody else's fault at this point. We have everything we've been fighting for, but we still find a way to find blame on everybody and everything but ourselves. Now today, guys, we're going to get into this video where we have an individual of the victimhood camp, the entitlement camp, and the lack of accountability camp. Of course, a Black person, but they are being directly opposed by someone who is holding their feet to the fire. Before we get into it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. Now let's get into it.
I think they're making an example of him. We just witnessed a public lynching of a teenager. How can you tell someone if you're being harmed, how to defend yourself? That's insane. And I think the state of America, it's a problem. Everything, I think that the strategy that the media has displayed this case played a big role in it. I think the way that the GoFundMes, I think all of that played into the decision making of this case. And it's ridiculous, honestly. I think that if you put your hands on someone, you can't tell someone if they are not feeling how to basically defend yourself. How do you do that? You know, and then to give him 35 years and make it a prime example. And I think everything that's going on right now in America explains exactly that.
So would you say, though, if someone, like a kid, gets into a fight, young teenagers, murder is the answer? You know, pulling out a knife?
Absolutely insane. Public lynching. I know you are not going back in time and comparing a young man who took someone else's life for no reason, getting what he deserved, and then calling it a public lynching. We are not about to go back in time and disrespect the African Americans, the Black Americans that lived during those times. We're not going to disrespect and compare what happened to Karmelo Anthony a lynching. We're not going to do that. That is absolutely disrespectful for the Black Americans that preceded us to compare justice today to what they went through, which was actual real racism. We ain't going through racism today. Everything we do, everything we get that's coming our way, we deserve it. And that's a hard truth to swallow. I know it is, because we're not as progressed as we want to be. But guess what? We've created the music, the culture, the mindsets. We keep ourselves down at this point. And it's absolutely embarrassing. Now, she also touched on, how are you going to tell someone how to defend themselves? Because it's in the law. It's in the law. You cannot escalate with a weapon to defend yourself under only strict circumstances, which none of those particular instances or requirements were met. Karmelo went under another team's tent, which is damn near illegal in the track meet culture. I ran track, I know. And then he had every single opportunity to leave. They told him no less than 15 times to leave. Austin Metcalf, the victim in this situation, who is no longer living with us, said he did not want to fight. He shoved Karmelo, but guess what? A shove does not equate to pulling out a knife and stabbing someone through their rib cage, puncturing their heart, causing death. We're going to move right along into this next clip to show more absurdity and more instances of how absolutely delusional my people are. One day we're going to wake up and realize we got everything we've been fighting for. But that day is not today.
So one statue that's very popular in the law, in the legal world, is Lady Justice. And Lady Justice is blind. She is blindfolded because there shouldn't be any bias in regards to race, religion, monetary situations. But I will say that Karmelo had the opportunity to walk away. He did. He wasn't being held there. If anybody held that young man, he had every opportunity to defend himself, and he would have been justified. But unfortunately, the claim of self-defense here just doesn't stand, especially when he said, touch me and see what happens. I just think that there's a huge problem with our community with violence. Our young people are very violent. We have had over a dozen shootings here in the last week here in Houston involving young people, and I just hate to see young people, regardless of race, either go to prison or go to the casket. Another thing to the protesters, if Karmelo had been stabbed under the same circumstances, would you be protesting? Would you be defending Austin? Absolutely not. You have a young man that was visiting another high school that pulled out a knife because they told him to leave a tent.
One instance you say that it's not about race. You said that doesn't play a role in it. And then you just double backed and said, had it was the role was reversed, what would be different?
Because I want to make the argument that if the roles were reversed, would there be protests?
Absolutely not. Because black people are so cultish. Let me not say cultish, but very tribal. I know everyone has seen the clip. I may put it in right here, where the black lady is saying, even if evidence shows that Karmelo Anthony was not provoked in no such way, and that the self-defense claim is asinine and doesn't stand up, would they still support him? And she said yes, because he's one of our own, saying that they're going to only support him just because he's black. No matter what the atrocity was that he did, just because he's a black American, they're going to support. Now, let me break down the psychology behind this and how this is absolutely detrimental to think, because like I always say, everybody can see us. They see clips like that. They know at this point, black people are among the most racist people in America, if not the most racist people in America at this point. Because I can almost guarantee you there's going to be more white people that would actually want justice, blind justice. Like the young lady said, justice is blind, lady justice. Did you do the crime? That's the only question. It's not, did you do the crime, but what race are you? And then what race people did you commit the crime against? Because we have such a slavery hangover at this point. We think that we can just put the atrocities that happened in the past to our people on current day white people who had nothing to do with it. That's not how that works. You don't combat past systematic racism with current reverse systematic racism. That's not how you get to a society where we're all treated according to the content of our character. That's not how that works, because what you're going to end up creating is a very disgruntled demographic of people, because what you're trying to do is project past atrocities to current people. And once you do that, they're going to realize, hey, I have nothing to do with that. I actually want things to be equal, but you're stuck in the past and you're taking that out on me. And now I'm being disadvantaged. And then you're going to have another uproar of a group of people talking about the white community now, who recognizes that they are actually being mistreated because the group of people that was mistreated in the past has gotten everything they want, all the rights and everything that they've been fighting for. So now they're doubling down with the mentality of, I hate white people and I'm going to take it out on them. And any and everything we do, no matter how wrong, how illegal, we're still going to support because they're black. That is absolutely insane. And that is 100% not the direction that we need to be going. That is not how you gain respect. The father of the Metcalf brother, he went to the press conference to pray with the Anthony family, and they kicked him out. At that moment in time, I 100% knew that Karmelo was going to be guilty. You sealed his fate. Even recently, the father just came out and said, I was trying to relax the racial tensions in this country and show people that we can come together, even in a time of great sorrow. What the Anthony family did was widen the gap with racial tension in this country. Let's keep moving forward. I got one more clip here and then I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for sticking out this long. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
We're at war.
You're not
And
at war.
we have been at war for
No,
centuries.
that is not
and for
true.
someone to be this delusional on the side of me and tell me that we are not at
My
war.
nieces and nephews are African American, are successful young people.
Success
and have
has
never
nothing.
fought
Let's go
in
one at a
school.
time, ladies.
Okay,
April,
success
give her 1
has
second.
nothing to do with what's going on and as a culture. So if you do have that and you are an attorney, you are aware of history, you are aware of what's going on, right? And if you can sit here and to tell me that this black child that is 17 years old at the time, who was pushed, he was touched, he was harmed, right? And everyone's saying it's just a push. There's also witness that says that he was jumped.
So although we're lies, the video showed none of that. And it just goes to show black people were completely gullible. We hear whatever we want, and then we're going to run with it as truth, as facts. We did that with George Floyd. We did that with Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown. If you actually looked at the cases and followed along, you would see that every single one of those black young men were in the wrong. Fabricating stories today. And why are we bringing up this one particular case? Do you know there are 2,000, and I rounded down because it was upward to 3,000 plus, 2,000 black men that are sentenced for murder each year. 2,000. We don't hear a thing from the quote unquote black leaders, these rappers, especially not the Democratic Party. I know I see it all the time through my particular outlets on the right about how bad violent crime is in the black community. We don't hear anything about that from the left, which is a major issue. Because when you have a bunch of emotional men running around that don't know how to handle those feelings, you get a lot of people in jail. Just like Karmelo Anthony, who got exactly what was coming to him. And people and his mother wanted them to be lenient. They were lenient because they could have given that man 99 years. He got 35 with the possibility of parole in 17 and a half. Austin Metcalf, he's never coming back. His family will never see him again. While Karmelo has the opportunity of seeing the outside world at 35 years old. Again, black people, we need to have accountability. I'm glad that somebody is actually holding our feet to the fire on this particular show called The Isaiah Factor. I'll leave the link in the description if you guys care to check out the entire interview or show. Accountability, we need it, guys. I'm sick and tired of us fulfilling our negative stereotypes at this point in time. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm holding us accountable. I always will. I will always look at the facts. Won't look at race, no matter the case. If we're at fault, then we're at fault. And guess what? We're at fault quite a bit. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Trying to get to 9,000 subscribers. And of course, make sure you leave your comments down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. I am the Black American. This is the channel of the free and the brave.